he took them to some apartment building, and they did what they did in there. Talked a little bit, had a good time, party, and I guess had. I can't fully talk as my mom because I'm not my mom. I'm just telling you guys what she told me. It was just, and I honestly just believe it. It's just no doubt.
We all thought we knew how power moves work in showbiz, but nothing prepares us for the image of Jay Z and Beyoncé, America's first couple of hip-hop, vanishing into the European mist like it's the plot twist in a streaming thriller. Forget the red carpets. What we have now are velvet ropes flapping in the wind as armored vans snake out of a gated estate at midnight, cargo loaded with custom art, files, and enough luxury luggage to open a department store. Their inner circle stays silent, but locals near Geneva say they've seen the Carters' private jet gliding in just before dawn, while a single blacked-out SUV waits at a side entrance. Always the same SUV, always the same Swiss license plates. They're not on holiday. We know a cover-up when we see one. This is an exit. And every whisper, every last-minute wire transfer, every cryptic social media unfollow screams the same question. What are they really running from?
And I'm not saying allegedly.
Oh.
I'm saying, Sean Carter, you're a piece of shit. Taking Pimp C wasn't bad enough. You just want to go down there and you want to just remove all of the balls from every real gangster in Houston.
If the story circulating among LA's top fixers and New York's legal sharks are true, this sudden exodus is about as voluntary as a fire drill. Jay Z, once bulletproof, has spent the past year watching the lawsuits stack higher than his Grammy shelf. Just as his team starts plugging one leak, another explosive headline hits, pulling him deeper into the undertow of scandal. And the latest headline isn't about a private spat, a business rivalry, or even those old stories of affairs and settlements. No, what's swirling now has the gravity of a falling star, criminal investigations, allegations of involvement with Diddy's alleged crimes, and a truly jaw-dropping surge of people claiming to be Jay Z's secret children. A slow drip has become a tidal wave.
I think that they don't want, if they was in any of those freak-off tapes, if they played a part in any of those Diddy sessions, they don't want it to get out to the general public to make up their...
It's hard to miss the pattern. A few months back, Jay Z was everywhere. Galas, charity events, surprise guest spots. Now, he's nowhere. No Hamptons parties, no dinner with the Obamas, not even a blurry fan photo at LAX. The only confirmed sightings are in Paris and Zurich, and if we believe the latest chatter, Beyoncé and the children are there too, hunkered down in a fortress reportedly owned by an offshore trust. His legal team is working overtime from a temporary European base, which, let's be honest, is code for a panic room with Wi-Fi. For the first time in 2 decades, Jay Z isn't controlling the narrative, he's scrambling to outrun it. This is where the plot turns from messy to utterly surreal. Remember the rumors that Jay Z had a secret son, Rymir Satterthwaite, and that for years the mogul dodged every attempt at a paternity test? It always seemed like tabloid filler, until this year, when Rymir's mother's age at the time of her relationship with Jay Z became public record. Court filings confirm Wanda Satterthwaite was just 16 when she met the future billionaire. Rymir, now 31, has been on this mission for more than a decade, and he's not after money. His latest lawsuit spells it out. He wants public recognition, damages for emotional pain, and most dangerous of all, a court-ordered DNA test.
I don't have no felonies. I'm not crazy or none of that. It's like, I just want the truth, and it's so hard to get it from the courts. And it seems like Jay Z don't want to say anything. So, I don't want to see him go down for something that you could have just got taken care of. That's it.
Why does this matter now? Because if the judge sides with Rymir and the details about Wanda's age stick, we're not talking about a messy payout or a no comment from Rock Nation. We're talking about criminal exposure. Jay Z could face actual charges. If there's a court ruling, if DNA confirms paternity, and the circumstances around Rymir's conception line up with the dates and laws now under scrutiny, Jay Z's team knows exactly what's at stake. The New York prosecutors would salivate over a win like this. Meanwhile, every time Jay Z's lawyers file a motion, Rymir's camp fires back with affidavits, old photos, and a steady drumbeat of why won't he take the test. As the legal chess match drags on, new names keep appearing. Suddenly, it isn't just Rymir. There's Latisha Macer, a woman from Maryland who claims she's Jay Z's daughter, with family members testifying to the story in social media posts and interviews. She's been open, even uploading a video that went viral. I've been quiet for far too long. Join me as I tell you my story of living in the shadows of being Jay Z's daughter in a city where everyone knew he was my father. It's one thing for one person to claim paternity. It's another for a string of claimants, each with their own paper trail and their own version of hush money deals.
I got older and my mom just continued to say the same thing, and she never changed the name. Like, she always was staying with the same name. I'm like, well, Mom, why? Like, as I got to 16, 17, I'm like, Mom, you've been saying this since I was a kid. So it's like, now my mom never lied to me, so why not?
Insiders, former managers, and even old friends of Jay Z aren't exactly hushing the rumors. There's the story that LaTesha lives in a house bought by Jay Z, that he pays the bills but enforces a no photos rule. Her aunt, who claims she introduced LaTesha's mother to Jay Z, spills details on Facebook. Jay asked me who she was when I lived on 500 Side, Greenwood Ave. We chilled in that apartment so many times. We laughed, drank, played cards, and some more. No one in Jay Z's camp has denied it, and frankly, the silence is deafening. All the while, legal filings keep referencing a decades-long campaign of harassment. Jay Z's side wants the world to see these lawsuits as desperate grabs for cash or attention, but the facts don't help his case. Rymir's mother, Wanda, spent 20 years trying to get a DNA test before her passing. Rymir himself insists this is not about greed or spectacle. It's about uncovering the truth and ensuring all parties are held accountable. It's clear he isn't backing down. The timing of Jay Z's sudden international escape couldn't look worse. The pressure is only mounting. If a federal judge decides Rymir's claims deserve another look, if the paperwork finally pries open sealed records, we could be on the brink of a courtroom drama that would make the OJ trial look like small-town squabbling. And with every month Jay Z refuses a DNA test, the story grows teeth. There are now court transcripts documenting years of legal stalling, attorney mistakes. One even admitted to misspeaking about Jay Z's property holdings in New Jersey. Public records, contradictory filings, and the age of consent laws in New York and New Jersey form a legal maze that, if prosecutors want it badly enough, could turn into a no-exit labyrinth for Jay Z.
In a blistering statement, Jay Z accuses Jane Doe's attorney of trying to blackmail him. He said further, quote, "These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away."
At the same time, the Diddy connection keeps pulling him deeper into the muck. Diddy is facing a legal apocalypse. Decades of claims about white parties and late-night events, now rebranded in the press as cover for all kinds of crimes. Jay Z, once photographed raising a toast with Diddy at the so-called Black Billionaire Brunch, now finds himself named in a lawsuit accusing both men of shocking acts at an after-party back in 2000. Both men deny everything. Jay Z fires off a statement. "These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one." Strong words, but words don't stop subpoenas. The FBI has already kicked in the doors at Diddy's mansion. Every lawyer in the music world knows that the next domino could be anyone, and Jay Z has just become suspect number one in the court of public opinion. The silence from Jay Z's old allies is almost as telling as his sudden change of address. 50 Cent posts a meme with Jay Z's face on a milk carton, mocking his absence. No A-list friends have come forward to defend him. Not even Beyoncé, queen of calculated public statements, has said a word. The two of them have closed ranks. Family, staff, assets, everything is being relocated, with European lawyers quietly moving shares and titles to a complex web of offshore accounts. Multiple sources claim that the Carters' entire fortune is now split between trusts in Switzerland, chateaus in France, even rumored safe deposit boxes packed with liquid assets in Luxembourg. The number floating around? $200 million for the chateau, plus whatever is quietly parked in bank accounts from Monaco to Malta. All of it carefully out of reach of the US legal system.
And we may actually see one of the biggest divorces in Hollywood is because Jay Z is up next to be exposed.
And if we look closely at the breadcrumbs, the Carters' US footprint is shrinking fast. Properties in LA and New York are quietly going on the market, with private showings for a very select few. Their staff in the States has reportedly been let go or reassigned to overseas projects. Even the children are said to be enrolled in a Swiss international school. No more Brooklyn playgrounds or Malibu beach sightings. For a couple whose brand was always Empire Built in America, it's a full-scale retreat. The idea that this is just for privacy or to raise their family away from the cameras is frankly laughable. The money is moving, the people are moving. The only thing staying put are the lawsuits. And still, there's no sign of Jay Z coming out swinging the way he always used to. No public denials about LaTesha, no hard-hitting interviews about Rymir's lawsuit, no shade thrown back at Diddy, no clever references on a surprise single, just silence and an unbroken trail of assets being funneled to every legal safe haven on the continent. The last time we saw this level of movement, it was the old school mob leaving New York just ahead of the indictment.
But after that major documentary comes out on Diddy, then you're going to start to hear more and more about Jay Z and his nefarious past.
We can't help but notice how the timing lines up with a wave of legal time-liars. Federal judges reviewing Rymir's filings, new Diddy-related lawsuits naming Jay Z as a person of interest, and the constant low hum of journalists digging into property records and flight logs. Is this the beginning of the end for the Carter Empire? Or is this just the start of a bigger, more complex plan, one where Jay Z pulls off the ultimate Houdini, escaping justice and re-emerging as the untouchable king of a new world order? The clues are piling up, and if we've learned anything, it's that no one is above the long arm of the law. Or the tabloid spotlight. As the pressure mounts, more insiders are starting to talk, more documents are starting to leak, and somewhere in a Geneva penthouse we can only imagine, Jay Z is watching the headlines with his phone switched off and his lawyers on speed dial. Because if the walls are closing in, this is the last move left. Fortress Europe, deep pockets, and silence. But the stories don't stop at the border, and the court of public opinion is the one trial you can never really outrun. But just as the Carters think they've sealed themselves off in their Swiss stronghold, the storms swirling back in America only grow darker. There's a reason no one's calling this just a Jay Z scandal anymore. The tentacles of Diddy's legal nightmare are snaking across the Atlantic, and Jay Z's old friendship with the bad boy founder, once a badge of hip-hop royalty, has suddenly become his biggest liability. Diddy, now facing a barrage of claims from every direction, sits in the eye of a hurricane that has already pulled in dozens of high-profile names, and as the headlines get uglier, talk of trafficking, violent assaults, and allegations that reach back decades. The question no one wants to answer is whether Diddy, cornered by the FBI and desperate to save himself, might finally start naming names.
And I have to still say allegedly, has done things and allegedly participated in a lot of things that the public would not be happy to know.
We've all heard the stories of their legendary partnership, two titans of rap raising glasses at black billionaire brunches, celebrating their ascent from the Marcy Projects and Harlem's nightclubs to mansions and private islands. Jay Z and Diddy have been through every storm together, until now. Insiders, attorneys, even rival managers are whispering that the alliance is on ice, maybe shattered forever. Why? Because Diddy's legal team knows that when it comes to the biggest charges, the truly career-ending stuff, Jay Z is the only man in the room with him. They go back to the 90s, to those infamous white parties, to business deals nobody wants to talk about now that subpoenas are flying. The trust that once held their empire together could turn into the ultimate betrayal, as Diddy, fighting for his life, weighs what he's willing to trade for a lighter sentence. A source close to the case told us that prosecutors are desperate for a cooperating witness who can unravel the entire celebrity web. Diddy, with his back to the wall and millions in legal bills, is exactly the kind of witness who could burn every bridge on his way out, especially if he thinks it buys him time on the outside. And what does Diddy have to offer? Years of late-night meetings, encrypted chats, joint investments, and crucially, the inside story on how assets, witnesses, and secrets have allegedly been buried. 3 industry veterans insist that Diddy has the receipts, and not just on himself. He knows where every body is buried, one tells us, only half joking.
I don't think they are scared of him. I think they more so, they don't want him to embarrass their reputation and things that they've been known for. You understand?
The old code of silence is cracking. This isn't about settling a beef or defending an old friend anymore. The FBI's raid on Diddy's Miami mansion sent a shockwave through every circle in entertainment and finance. As one lawyer bluntly put it, the feds want Diddy to talk, and if he does, he can take down anyone he wants. The timing of Jay Z's sudden exit, then, feels less like coincidence and more like a chess move, except it may be the last move he gets before someone else flips the board. With Diddy reportedly locked down, isolated from his usual lieutenants, the prosecution's offer hangs in the air. Give us Jay Z, and maybe the charges get softer. Let's not pretend Jay Z hasn't considered this. We know he's meticulous, always 6 steps ahead. But this kind of betrayal, that's the kind of twist that ends legacies and rewrites music history books. If Diddy cracks, we're talking not just financial secrets and tax shelters, but alleged backroom deals, non-disclosure agreements, and possibly even the ugly business of silencing accusers. In the end, the question isn't just whether Jay Z and Diddy are friends. It's whether their loyalty survives the threat of years behind bars. One wrong word, one document unearthed, and the entire Carter dynasty could go up in smoke.
What I've heard about them as a couple is that they've been living separate lives for a very long time.
But there's a more personal drama simmering just beneath the headlines, one that could eclipse even the biggest betrayal in hip-hop history. As the world speculates about Jay Z's next move, eyes are turning to the one person who might have more power than anyone, Beyoncé. No one has missed her silence. No statements, no interviews, not even a cryptic lyric dropped in a surprise single. Her social feeds are curated to perfection. Her appearance is limited to carefully staged European outings, the children always shielded by security and oversized sunglasses. Is this the posture of a loyal partner, or the careful choreography of a queen in crisis mode? Behind palace walls, the mood is reportedly tense. We can only imagine what the conversations must sound like when the cameras are off and the doors are closed. Beyoncé, after all, has always played the long game. Her brand, her voice, her image, she is the architect of her own empire, not just Jay Z's spouse. And as these allegations gather force, the tabloid world is buzzing with speculation. Is Beyoncé preparing a quiet exit strategy? There are whispers that she's moving more assets into her own name, contacting advisors about independent ventures, even drafting her own version of the story, just in case. If Jay Z's legal issues catch fire, she may be forced to choose between standing by her husband or saving her own legacy.
How do you know I'm not a gangster? Or used to be a gangster? I've been in the music industry for 30 years.
Yeah, I mean, the industry is filled with gangsters.
And what does it mean for their children? For a decade, the Carter brand has been an image of unbreakable family. Photo shoots, tour documentaries, Grammy performances. But insiders claim Beyoncé is now laser focused on protecting the next generation, shielding them not just from paparazzi, but from the legal crossfire that could redefine their lives. Friends of the family describe her as resolute, unbreakable, but also isolated, someone who knows the rules of the game and is preparing for every scenario. Is she already negotiating the boundaries of her involvement, making sure she and her children land on their feet no matter how hard Jay Z's empire falls? Some argue that her silence is loyalty, that she's standing by her king, but others say it's fear of getting dragged into legal chaos, fear of being painted as complicit, fear of losing the control she's worked so ruthlessly to achieve. As one veteran PR expert told us off the record, Beyoncé doesn't blink unless it's strategic. If she's quiet now, it means the next move will be the loudest of her career. If Jay Z faces criminal charges, or if Diddy opens his mouth to the feds, Beyoncé's hand will be forced. Will she defend him or cut ties to save herself?
This is what I look for. When I see a success, I'm looking for anything
to say that they didn't do it on their own?
Detain it, yeah, detain it, not to...
And then, there's the wild card that no one dares to say out loud. The rumors have been circling for years, swirling in the undercurrents of conspiracy chat rooms and industry green rooms alike. The theory that the Carters' entanglement with Diddy is only the surface layer of a much deeper, darker network. The old Illuminati whispers are back, fueled by every strange coincidence and every sudden tragedy in their orbit. The wildest claims that Jay Z's exile is less about avoiding subpoenas and more about escaping the grasp of a powerful shadow syndicate, one that rewards loyalty and punishes betrayal, and that may not forgive the collapse of a billion-dollar alliance. A handful of former associates insist there's more to this than meets the eye, pointing to coded messages in lyrics, offhand references at shows, even cryptic moves in how assets are held and transferred. The Carters themselves, of course, have never commented on these theories, and their legal teams laugh them off as internet fever dreams. But as history shows, the line between wild speculation and tomorrow's headline is thinner than anyone wants to admit. All the while, America's media machine is revving up, promising more documents, more tell-all interviews, more so-called smoking gun emails. The big agencies are now watching for signs: an unexplained asset sale, an unusual trip, a private meeting with high-powered crisis managers. Every gesture is scrutinized. Beyoncé's stone face on a Parisian balcony, Jay Z's lawyer photographed in Zurich, the children's conspicuous absence from all public events. We know what damage control looks like when it's just about money. This feels bigger, deeper, almost existential. If the dominoes start falling, it won't just be about wealth. It'll be about legacies, reputations, and the survival of a dynasty.
Jay Z new video with Nas and DJ Khaled is a scene with checkerboards. These are all occult Satanists.
We can't ignore the growing sense that Jay Z is running out of moves. As the world's eyes shift from New York to Europe, as prosecutors circle and insiders start talking, it's clear that this escape is at best a delay tactic. Europe might offer luxury, privacy, and even a little protection, but it won't stop the subpoenas from crossing the ocean, or the headlines from following every bank transfer, every cryptic social post, every word out of Diddy's mouth. So we have to ask, are we witnessing the slow-motion collapse of hip-hop's most powerful empire? Or is Jay Z already planning the greatest comeback the world has ever seen? Could Beyoncé, silent, calculating, possibly preparing her own endgame, end up being the last Carter standing? Drop your wildest theories and insider tips in the comments, because this story is nowhere near finished. What do you think will happen when Diddy finally talks? Or if Beyoncé breaks her silence, We'll be here digging deeper, chasing the truth, because if there's one thing we've learned, it's that the deeper you go into the world of the Carters, the more dangerous the secrets become. Until next time, stay sharp, stay curious, and don't blink, because in this game, the next move could change everything.